Hello everyone, my name is Deanna and I am here to share with you some tips on how to navigate these, let's call them interesting times that we're living in, and also how to transform the time of quarantine into something pleasant and fruitful, so at the end you look back with joy and satisfaction. A little bit about myself. I coach people on their relationships. I also teach yoga. I love to play tennis, and I am sending you greetings and much love from my own home, where I am sharing this quarantine with my husband and with my dear cat, Rasta, who is more famous on Instagram than me and my husband all together. What have I prepared for you? I have created 3 videos that I promise will be of great help for you during this time of quarantine. The first video is called the Triad of Emotions. What is that? Through this Triad of Emotions, I'm going to share 3 ways in which you can manage your emotions successfully during the time of quarantine. This is a great tool not only in these times that we're living in right now, but in general for your life. I promise you will like them. The second video is on happiness hormones. Right now, because we stay indoors, a lot of our opportunities to activate our happiness hormones have been taken away from us. But there are ways in which we can still be joyful, happy, and let's say content in our homes. And the third video is more of a surprise, and I called it From Fear to Faith. I know this title doesn't give out a lot of what is going to be in that video, but that's the idea. So those 3 videos are going to come up in the next few weeks. But before we actually go into the videos, I wanted to share with you 4 reasons why you might feel the way that you feel right now. And I hope that by understanding these things, you won't put yourself down, you won't feel guilty, you will bring in more compassion for your own feelings. So these 4 reasons why you might feel the way that you feel are the following: grief, the change that you're going through, the lack of control that you might feel, and the isolation and the dynamic of your relationships. And let's go into each of those. The first one, I said it's grief. And I know grief is actually a very, heavy word. So you might say, yeah, but grief you experience when you lose something that is very dear to you, maybe even a beloved one. Yes, but by these very rapid changes that have happened in the last few weeks in our lives imply loss. You have lost your routine. You have lost maybe some dear activities, some hobbies that were really dear to you and very close to your heart and were the way that you are recharging. So basically, there are some things that you've lost by the fact that you need to be in quarantine. David Kessler, he is, the absolute expert of grief. And there are a few stages of grief. The first one is anger, then you feel denial, then you feel sadness. So there are all these things that come up when life takes away from you some things. So no matter what you feel right now, as I said, it can be anger, it can be sadness, it can be resentment, overwhelm, boredom, whatever it is, it's okay. It is what it is. It's neither good nor bad. It is just normal, and take it as it is. So the first one was grief. Was that feeling that we lost something that was important to us by needing to stay home and not being able to go outside and to lead the life that we used to lead before the quarantine. The second one is this change that has happened in our lives. As human beings, we don't really like change. Change stresses us out. We like patterns. We like routines. We like the things that we are used to. Even if we enjoy change, change stresses us out. And let me explain to you why. our power, our willpower, and our power of decision are limited throughout the day. When things in your life change, you need to make more decisions. When you have habits or when you have a routine, you don't need to make any decisions because that's a habit, that's a routine. So for example, when you wake up in the morning, you go to the washroom and then you brush your teeth. And it's not a decision. Should I brush my teeth? Should I not brush my teeth? Should I brush them now or should I brush them later? Should I brush them for this long or for this long? So it's a habit and it happens and it doesn't consume any of your decision power. Let me give you another example. Maybe some of you have been on a diet. And in the morning, when you're on a diet, you feel that you are in charge, that you don't need to eat those foods that are not as healthy or that are not included in your diet. But the more you advance throughout the day, the more tired you get, the more decisions you've made throughout the day, the harder it is for you to say no to those temptations. And the reason is that you have exhausted your decision power and your willpower throughout the day. So why is this relevant now? Well, because right now, all the routines that you had, waking up in the morning and going to school or to work or meeting your friends or doing those activities at the gym. So you already had a pattern, you already had a routine. Those things didn't require any decision from you because they were already your habits. But now you're at home and there are new decisions to make. There is probably no routine yet. All these new decisions come into your life and exhaust you. Ultimately. And maybe you wonder, well, but I haven't done anything today. Why am I exhausted at the end of the day? And why do I feel so sluggish? And why do I feel so drained of energy? Well, it's because nothing is the same that it used to be before. Everything has changed. You need to make new decisions in your life. So the solution here actually is to create new habits and to create a routine. But we're going to get into that. The third one is the lack of control that we experience. So first of all, it hasn't been our decision for this virus to come up. It hasn't been our decision to be in quarantine. Someone else has decided this for us, and this impacts our life. And last but not least, we don't know when this is going to end, right? So is it going to be 2 more weeks, 1 more month, 2 more months? So and also, I almost forgot about that. We don't know how our life is going to be after the quarantine, after all this is ending. So there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of the things that we don't know, and a lot of things that are not under our control. And in our lives today, we like being in control. At least we like to feel that we are in control. And there is a saying in my own language, I come from Romania, they say that the ground is running from under your feet. So you feel that you don't know where life is going to take you. And I totally get it, but there are things that we can do about that as well. There are things that make us feel more in control, and I'm going to share them with you in the next videos. And the fourth thing that might make us feel in all these different ways that I mentioned before is the isolation. Maybe you're wondering, when was she going to mention that? Because that is the thing that affects me the most. So there are two things, or two cases, two situations here. There are those people who are on their own. They're really alone at home, right? So it's just one person in the household, or maybe they're away from their family in a different country and they're on their own. So that isolation is a challenge, absolutely. And I just want to, give a shout out to all of these people who are in the situation. I'm sending you much love. Just know that you're not alone and we are all connected. On a rational level now, connecting with other people activates our happiness hormone, which is called oxytocin. And happiness hormones make us feel good. Not only that, but physical touch enhances this oxytocin. And we are social animals. Humans are social animals, and we like herds. We like being around people, and we need this. It is known that people who have relationships and healthy relationships in their lives, they live happier, healthier, and longer. So right now in isolation, we are forced to stay, and in the social distancing, not to mention that as well, we are forced to be away from other people. So of course that we feel lost, of course that we feel sad, of course that we might feel anxious at times. So everything that you're feeling is normal. So that's the first case, when people are all alone. And then there's a second situation when we are back with our families. Probably this is the first time that we're spending so much time with our family. And this can be good, and of course it has a lot of positive aspects to it, but the old patterns come out. Why are these things coming up again, and how am I going to get rid of these old patterns? So this is normal. Just believe that you are not alone, and there are things that we can do about those things as well. So what were the 4 things that make us feel and in different ways and stir all our emotions? The first one was the grief, that feeling of loss that we have. The second one is the change and the huge changes that happen in our lives and has taken us out of our routine and exhaust our decision power and our willpower. The third one was the feeling of lack of control that we have over our lives, and maybe the one that we experience when we think of our immediate or mid to long-term future. And the last one is the isolation and the relationships and the dynamic of the relationships in our lives. I am sending you all the best. I am looking forward for you to enjoy the next videos, because in the next videos we are going to look at ways in which we can address all of these 4 reasons that make us feel the way that we feel during quarantine. I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.